Good evening. Good evening. This is the video recording of the Unit 3 Semester 4 syllabus. As I Grew Older, written by Langston Hughes. This is Semester 4 syllabus in which we have the poem As I Grew Older, written by Langston Hughes. Before the poem begins, there is a pre-reading activity in which the writer wants the readers to think and answer the questions. Do you know what the word discrimination means? Or have you ever felt discriminated against? Or if yes, what was the reason for it? If not, have you witnessed any instance of discrimination? Then, what could be the various grounds for discrimination? Do you know what racism is? Then, in which countries do you think racial discrimination existed or exists? Now, all these questions can be answered within our country as well as the other countries. The very discrimination is the showing of importance to the one and not caring for the other. So that can be very much common to our society, where the boys are given more importance compared to the girls. That is a kind of discrimination. Then, have you ever felt discriminated? That is generally when the parents make the girls to do all the work, but never the boys are said the importance of the work. Then, what was the reason for it? Have you? Okay, this is the traditional way of the patriarchal family, I should say, where the head is considered to be the father and the boys are given more importance, as the traditional belief is there within the society. What could be the various grounds for discrimination? There are various grounds. It can be the discrimination can be about the religions, caste, creed, and also the looks of a person or the color of a person, as we can say. Racism is talks about the color, where the white color people are given more importance and black color people are not at all of any value. That was where the Gandhiji has fought in South Africa for the racism. So here we can mention such instances. Even now we see in our country. Here the question says is, in which countries do you think racial discrimination existed? It is our own country. We can talk about this kind of racism because if a child is born in a family, the very first thing the question is asked is whether the child is fair or black. That itself shows that our society gives importance to the color. So also this racism is very much prevalent in America, where the blacks were given no importance and the whites had treated the black people as a slave. Even today we see that there is a lot of terrorism that exists in America and other countries. It is only because of racial discrimination, which once it existed a lot. So black people, they are just against the white people. Or white people, they don't want to give any kind of authority or the equal importance to the black people. So this is one of the racial discrimination which we can see even in our society. Then Langston Hughes was a leading writer and thinker of Harlem Renaissance. the African American artistic movement of 1920s that celebrated African American life and culture. The poem in which the writer has written has been celebrated the culture of the African American. African American is African born and grown up in America. That is African American. He started writing at a young age and rose to fame with his poetry collections, The Weary Blues, The Fine Clothes to the Jews. In 1927, an early inventor of jazz poetry. So Hughes condemned racism, promoted equality and celebrated African American life, culture and spirituality through his poetry, novels, plays and essays. So Africans generally once during the rule of Britishers, they were captured as slaves and they were made to do all the work, but no power or no equal right was given to them. So the writer belongs to the African country, grown up in America. He talks about all this, where he will celebrate that he has gained or condemned, as it is said. He condemned the racism. He never wanted to show any kind of higher power to the white people, but he wants to, the renaissance which he has been made, the changes that he wants to bring in the country through the poem is a renaissance, and that is through the poem which he talks about the equal rights for the black people. So here, As I Grew Older is the poem in which the writer is giving way to his thoughts. It was a long time ago, I have almost forgotten my dream. But it was there then in front of me, bright like a sun. My dream, and then the wall rose slowly. Slowly between me and my dream, rose until it touched the sky. The wall, shadow, I am black. I lie down in the shadow, no longer the light of my dream before me, above me, only the thick wall. Only the shadow, my hands, my dark hands, break through the wall. Find my dream, help me to shatter this darkness, to smash this night, to break this shadow into 1,000 lights of sun, into 1,000 swirling dream of sun. So this is the poem. I just explained the stanza by stanza. It was a long time ago. The writer, when he is giving way to the poetry, the thoughts he is putting in the form of a poem was the situation once upon a time in his life. So it was a long time ago. I have almost forgotten my dream. As a child, when we grow, or the youngsters, we have so many dreams. So also the writer talks about his life, where he says that he had dreams in his life, but at the stage when he is writing the poem, he has already forgotten that he had dreams in his life once upon a time. But it was there then. Then the writer says that as he feels that he has forgotten, there itself everything comes alive in his life. But it was there then in front of me, as if it has been got back to the life in front of him. He observes, or he is able to see, bright like a sun. The dream which once upon a time was a dream and forgotten, now the writer feels that it is like a bright sun right in front of him. My dream. Then he says, oh, these are all my dreams. And then the wall rose. The minute he thinks that it is my dream, then he happens to realize or to know what has happened and what again it will lead to. Then the wall rose. Wall rose is the imaginative thinking of the writer. The wall rose slowly. Slowly and slowly he starts thinking what are the problems when he had this dream. So slowly and slowly between me and my dream, the dream which he happens to see in the life, which is now in front of him like a bright sun, he happens to feel that there is a wall to reach that dream. Actually, there is no wall. These are the imaginative version to give way to the obstacles that come across to fulfill any work. The responsibilities or to achieve a particular goal. When we have or when we think that we have to do a particular work, it is not very easily done. We need to face so many problems. The problems which the writer is facing are given the imaginative version of a poem said to be in the form of a wall. Rose until it touched the sky, and that wall has got the height of a sky. Then the wall shadow. The wall has its shadow. I am black, and the shadow which was there of that wall, it was black, and the color of the writer is also black. I lie down in the shadow. So whenever he feels, the writer feels like sitting in the shadow, and when he comes under the shadow, his color matches with that shadow. No longer the light of my dream before me. Once he happens to see that my skin color and the shadow is the same, no more he thinks about any of the dream in the life. Above me, only the thick wall. Once he sits in that shadow, what he happens to observe is it is only the thick wall, the very wall that touches the sky. Only the shadow. And then he happens to feel that at all anything is there with him, it is only the shadow. My hands. Then he says that it is my hands, my dark hands. The writer belongs to African country. He is a black person, so he refers himself to be with the dark hands. Break through the wall. Now the writer says that he doesn't want to feel bad of anything, but because he has the energy, he can break through the wall. To reach that dream, he can simply break the wall and find my dream and find the way to the dream. Help me to shatter this darkness. My dark hands, which are very dark, which are not of so importance to the others, the writer says that this same hands has got so much of energy that it will shatter and break the darkness which doesn't make me to give way to the dream. Because of the energy, he can do anything and break the darkness. To smash this night, that is the problems that are faced in the life. he can simply smash the problems. That is how it can be said here. To break this shadow, no one can break the shadow, it is the problems he is referring to. So, to break this shadow, which appears to be as if it is impossible to complete any work. So, the writer says that with these dark hands, I will be able to break this shadow into 1,000 lights of sun. Once I break the shadow, how the nature will appear is into 1,000 lights of sun. We see one sun in the sky, and the writer is saying, once I break this darkness, there will be thousands of lights of sun. Into 1,000 whirling dreams. And it will not restrict to any one dream, but it will have thousands of whirling dreams. Whirling in the sense, whirling pool is where the water revolves all round and round and round. So also the writer says that the dreams which will come true in his life of the sun, which will give the thousands of lights of the sun, will be like whirling dreams, means which will come and come and come, like a whirling pool. And it will be in thousands. So this is what the writer is talking about when he says that as I grew older. Means at the age when the writer is giving way to the poetry, he is in the age where he feels that he has grown old. And this is how he has lived all through the years. So he is talking about his thoughts and his problems and how he has again able to fulfill the dream. So these are all the things about the As I Grew Older by Langston Hughes. The only message is that we can learn from this poem is just dreaming is very easy, but to reach or to fulfill that dream, as it is already said by APJ Abdul Kalam, dream is the one which will never make you sleep. So also is the writer giving the same version here, that it is the dream once upon a time which was forgotten, and the minute he thinks again it comes alive, and again he happens to feel the same kind of responsibility or the obstacles coming in the way. So he feels that this time he has got lot of energy to break any kind of shadow that will not allow him to give way to the dreams. And he gives the version or puts the positive attitude, saying that once he breaks the shadow, there will be thousands of lights of sun, like a whirling dreams. Means that has no end. That is the meaning of this sentence. So these are all the things that one can take as a positive attitude or inspiration in one's life. So this is all about Langston Hughes. In the next class, I will do the grammar of the same unit. Thank you.